This deck is absolutely insane as it combines all of the best Omnimons all together, which is something you have never ever seen before. Digimon fans, welcome back, and today we'll be showcasing this super unique Omnimon Megazoo deck. One day I was at my locals and somebody brought this insanely powerful deck and it caught everyone off guard. So a quick shout out to Shamar, who was actually the player who played with this build, and I heavily got inspired from it and I made a few tweaks to it as well. Some of you guys might find this deck super strange, but don't worry because I'll be showing you guys how to play it and how it all works in the combo segment later on. But first, let's get into the build. Alright, starting off with the Digi-Egg cards, we got the 4 copies of Mother D Reaper. There's a very specific reason why we play this as our Digi-Egg, because this is the one and only Digi-Egg that can directly move from raising into the battle area without having to Digivolve. It does have 15k DP, but all of that does not matter. It has a bunch of effects. It can't be affected by your opponent's effects, which actually is super important because then you can utilize her to do certain specific combos, which we'll be showcasing, and will very clearly explain why we play this particular deck. But for now, this is the only Digi-Egg, the 4 copies, the only one that you're going to be running in this particular deck. That's it for Digi-Eggs. Let's jump into not our level 3s, not our level 4s, and we don't play any of those. We are just going to go straight into our level 5s onwards. This is a megazoo type based deck, and some of you guys who don't know what megazoo is all about, it's basically that you hard play really strong higher level Digimon, and you basically have a top end that focuses strategy all entirely on having big Digimon at all. So you don't really need to cycle through Digivolving, you're not trying to build a stack and whatnot, you just go straight into your level 5s and then you try to build there onwards. Anyways, we'll talk about that more in the combos to show you guys later, but we definitely have the 4 copies of Wisemon to start off. 6 cost to hard play. It has on play effect, also when Digivolving, but it's never going to matter because we're going to be using its on play. Revealing top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 purple or black Digimon card among them to your hand and place the rest back to the bottom of your deck in any order. We're mainly going to be adding a black Digimon in particular to search, and with its inheritable giving us blocker with no requirements whatsoever is the best level 5 that we can be running in this particular deck. And really important, you're always going to be wanting to cycling the cards and make sure you set up for the order that you're going to be wanting to see, and that is hence why we also play the 4 copies of the BT11 Omnimon. For 7 costs this time, it also has the exact same kind of on play effect, revealing the top 5 cards this time instead, letting you play a Tamer card which has no color restriction with a play cost with 4 or less among them for free. Then you get to place the rest back to the bottom or the top of your deck in any order, and you want to be organizing it once again to plan ahead of your plays, which is super crucial. Very similar to Wisemon with its inheritable, your turn once return when you play another Digimon by an effect, one of your Digimon gains blocker, and I believe this rarely ever happens. We don't really play anything by other effects overall in this build, but otherwise really important just because you need to sort of plan ahead. Then last but not least, to round off for all the level 5s, we are just currently playing the simple 4 copies of Metal Greymon from EX4 in particular. This one just really has the blocker. You don't use as when Digivolving effect ever, and it gives the inheritable blocker as well. So for 7 costs, it is quite a decent one to actually hard play. You do want to set up some blockers so that your opponents can't really chip you away from the early stages of the game, but also when you go into your top end, you have a super strong beefy body that is also super strong blocker, which is all there is to this guy. That's it for the level 5s. Now let's talk about our level 6s. First and foremost, we got 4 copies of raidenmon, which is going to be your main level 6. It can Digivolve for 4 costs on top of black level 5, or you can Digivolve it on top of a level 6 black Digimon for 2 costs instead. On play or when Digivolving, which mainly going to be when Digivolving this, and use its effect usually by placing 1 Raijimon, 1 Fujimon, and 1 Suijimon from your trash under this Digimon in any order as its bottom Digivolution sources. You get to gain 1 memory for each card placed. Really nice because you can stack level 6s, and stacking level 6s are going to be super important for later on for top end Omnimon related combos for sure. It has a run attacking effect. If the level 6 cards in this Digimon's Digivolution have 3 or more different colors among them, this Digimon gets extra 3000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn. If you have 4 more colors, you can de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. Not super important to set this up, but is definitely really nice. This is going to be your main bridge from your 5s into your level 7s, and it being a black Digimon is going to be super important and super crucial for sure. Since we talked about its effect with the other sort of gate guardians of the digital world, where we definitely then move on, as we got 3 copies of raidenmon right here, digivolving for 3 on top of a black or yellow level 5 in particular. It does have a hand main effect. If you have a Digimon and play with Justimon or raidenmon in its name, you get to pay 1 memory to place this underneath as its bottom Digivolution card to give it an inheritable as a level 6, which is really nice. So we're just going to jump straight to the inheritable, giving it when attacking, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4000 DP for the turn. Then it has a when digivolving effect, which is mainly what you're going to be wanting to see sometimes as well. You get to trash 1 Digimon card with Machine or Cyborg in its traits in your hand to have one of your opponent's Digimon minus 4000 DP again. And really important, because as we're talking about the gate guardians, we then also of course have the 3 copies of Fujinmon right here. Once again, they all have the similar color black in common, which lets you digivolve on top of a level 5 black, and it also has the hand main effect as well, letting you place it underneath raidenmon so they can give its inheritable of when attacking, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon with 5000 DP or less, and that Digimon doesn't unsuspend during your opponent's unsuspend phase. Otherwise, when digivolving, it does pretty much exactly the same thing, but this time by trashing 1 Machine or Cyborg and its traits from your hand, you get to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon with no restrictions whatsoever. And yeah, by doing so, it's going to be really nice and what you're going to be looking for. And then last but not least, to finalize for all of the 3 gate guardians of the deck, we got 3 copies of Suijinmon right here. Main hand effect, just like all the others, placing it bottom underneath raidenmon, now giving the inheritable of when attacking, return one of your opponent's level 4 Digimon back to their hand, and then with its when digivolving effect, trashing 1 Machine or Cyborg from your hand to place one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to the bottom of their owner's deck instead. So again, being able to stack these level 6s are going to be super crucial as we go later and explain to you why as well when we get into the combos. That's it for all of our level 6s. Now let's get into our level 7s, which are going to be all our Omnimon related cards essentially right here. But since we're talking about Omnimon, just before we showcase all of them, there is something really cool I want to share with all you guys first. Hey guys, first and foremost, we would really want to deeply thank you all for supporting the first ever release on the Avault channel, being the Darkness Force playmat. You guys were so amazing to the point that it was sold out in the first 24 hours, and we totally got blown away because of that. Don't worry guys, we got even more cool projects in the pipeline, and to celebrate the EX4 alternatives being set, me and my friends over at Team FD and Bantil will be collabing once again, and we'll be releasing the all-new Omega Berserk playmat. Again, this is going to be a limited run, so only 300 copies of these will be made, and each and every one of them, just like last time, will have a unique serial code to make it extra special. So be sure to mark your calendars, as orders will be open on June 30th, 10 p.m. EST until July 7th. Links and additional details will be left in the description box down below. And lastly, we really wouldn't be able to make all these amazing and cool projects without you guys. So deep down again, thank you guys so much for the continued support. All right, Omnimons, level 7s, 4 copies of Zwart Deck. We're bringing this card back, one of my personal favorite cards ever. With its security effect, it can just come out for free without battling. Super strong body with its deletion effect, being able to delete something as well. Otherwise, if you have it in your hand, you can digivolve it for 3 costs on top of a black level 6 to delete one of your opponent's tamers, which is going to be super crucial. Really nice in most matchups. And yeah, definitely the Omnimon you do want to see the most because of its efficient digivolving and whatnot. Then with the all new Alter B right here from the EX4 set, we definitely want to be playing 3 copies. This one particularly can digivolve on top of black level 6 for 5 costs, but we can digivolve it for 2 costs on top of any level 7 Omnimon in its name. Now, it has when digivolving, de-digivolve 3 on one of your opponent's Digimon, then choose any number of your opponent's Digimon that has a play cost up to 6 or less, and then delete them. It also has the when attacking effect by trashing up to 3 level 6 or higher cards in this Digimon's Digivolution sources among your opponent's tamers and or Digimon, you get to delete the lowest play cost for every card you trash, essentially. And then if you trash 3 cards, you trash the top 2 cards of your opponent's security stack. So really crucial, really important. Now you guys can see why we want to be stacking level 6s, and particularly as much as we can, aside from the traditional way of playing this card in the traditional Alter S DNA deck with Kresgurumon and Blitzgreymon essentially. But yes, really cool new card, really nice addition, one of the best Omnimons that you want to be getting into nowadays, just because you can Digivolve it for so efficiently with the 2 costs. And then moving on for certain matchups, then we're going to be wanting to play Omnimon Merciful Mode. We can Digivolve on top of level 6 that is red, blue, yellow, or green, which has a lot of synergy obviously with our Gate Guardians, can Digivolve it on top of our 6, but otherwise we want to be Digivolving as well for 3 on top of a name that contains Omnimon. When Digivolving, for each card with Mega level in its traits in this Digivolution sources, delete one of your opponent's Digimon, then place 10 cards from your opponent's trash at the bottom of their deck in any order. And it's really good against specific certain matchups, especially those who really want to rack up more trashes, especially decks that need setup in their trash. Really great counter, and you guys can see once again why we can rack up multiple level 6s to pop more things with this particular card. And then at the start of our turn, we get to trash this guy, to trash one of our opponent's security as well, which is going to be super crucial and really nice too. Next, we're bringing back the older version of Alter S for Digivolving for 6 on top of a level 6 that is red or black. When Digivolving, we basically de-Digivolve one on the entire opponent's board and popping everything that is 5k or less afterwards. Also, with its secondary effect, which is super important actually, when attacking, you can make this Digimon unblockable for the turn by returning a level 6 Digivolution card underneath this Digimon back to your hand. So you can actually use this to finish games and surprise your opponents, and a lot of people will not be expecting to see this card coming back once again, and that's absolutely insane, really cool. And then moving on to some other different kinds of Omnimons I feel like you can be playing in this deck. The other thing that you do want to keep in mind is that this particular Omnimon X antibody from BT10 can only specifically Digivolve for 3 costs on top of Omnimon specifically, and not in its name compared to all of the other Digimons which we're showcasing. But overall, it can still provide a lot of value when you play it at the right time with its really powerful effect. Also, with its when Digivolving, when attacking once per turn effect, placing a level 6 back underneath from its sources to the bottom of your deck, see your opponent's security, plan ahead, trash one of them, and just ultra really nice 16k super strong body. And that's how I feel about this card, that you definitely want to have a one-of, which is nice tech. And then for the other nice one-of tech, Omnimon X antibody from BT5, the one that stops attacks in some situations that you might want to need to face against it, but otherwise its when attacking effect is still super powerful because you get to pop stuff with 15,000 DP or less consistently with its attacking effect, and whatever your opponents bring out on the board, you're just going to keep on deleting it over and over again, and there's basically just no answer to it, which is going to be really nice. And also keep in mind, just like most of our Omnimons, it can Digivolve on top of a Omnimon in its name just for 3 costs, so juggling between all these different kinds of Omnimons can help you really nicely in specific matchups to face against. Anyways, that's it for all of our Digimon. Let's talk about our tamers. We are bringing back the good old BT5 Ty and Matt specifically. Start of your turn, if your opponent has a level 6 or higher Digimon, you gain 2 memory immediately. A lot of decks these days, once again, still continue to play a lot of level 6s, and these tamers gives you ultra value. Otherwise, its secondary effect is really what you're trying to go into and get for as well, because it gives all your Omnimon in its name security +1, so you can do aggressive checks. Once you have your established level 7 Omnimon on board, you can do a lot of damage with these guys, and you definitely want to see this tamer as much as possible no matter what. Then for the other tamer that we're playing, we definitely want to see the 4 copies of Alice McCoy. We want to see this at least a one-of in our games as mostly and consistently as possible, because for effectively 2 costs, your turn once per turn, when one of your Digimon would Digivolve into a level 5 to level 6, you get to delete one of your Digimon to reduce the cost by 3. So essentially making a lot of your Digivolving of your level 6s free, which is really important, and that's what you want to be going for. And again, this is the whole reason why we're playing Mother D Reaper in the deck, because we can actually delete our own Mother D Reaper once it comes out from the raising in particular. So by doing so, our Mother D Reaper will always be a floating body that cannot be interrupted by our opponent's effects and whatnot, and having it with Alice McCoy, we can utilize it, so then we can basically turbo into our 6s and then eventually our level 7s much more efficiently and quickly. That's exactly where it comes from. Then for moving into our options, 2 copies of blue card. Blue card is just really nice because while you have a tamer, you get to use this card without meeting color requirements. Revealing the top 5 cards of your deck, you can digivolve one of your Digimon into a non-white Digimon card among them without paying its memory cost. If you don't, you get to add 1 Digimon card in your hand and then place the remaining cards back to the bottom of your deck in any order. This is again to help you turbo into your level 6s, but if you can't turbo into your level 6 like you guys can see, you can actually grab yourself a Digimon, which can potentially be a Omnimon as well if you want to find it, and with a security effect lets you play a tamer from your hand for free, which is also ultra value. So really nice tech options right here. And then last but not least, we actually got 2 Hyper Infinity Cannon, being Chaos Dramon's sort of signature move. But the thing is, we're not going to fulfill the color requirements because while you have a Digimon that is level 6 with machine as traits, which are actually going to be our Gate Guardian related Digimon to fulfill its conditions, for the 6 cost, we did Digivolve 3 on one of our opponent's Digimon, and then we get to place 1 card with Cyber and its traits from our hand or trash underneath a level 6 Digimon with machine and its traits as its bottom Digivolution sources to delete one of our opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. Really powerful tech card, because it synergizes with our combo and go very nicely to add more level 6 slots, and then giving our raidenmon more inheritables and whatnot is going to be super important and super cool. And that basically wraps up for the 50 card main deck. Okay, so now let's get into the combos and the how to play section of this particular deck, which is probably what you guys are most interested about and really want to learn and see how this works. So first and foremost, you want to be seeing your hand, and let's talk about the mulligans. You really need to see a level 5. That's the most important thing, because you don't want to be hard playing anything else other than your level 5s. You want to be able to see your tamers too. So depending if you're going first or second, usually with this deck, the first and foremost mentality to keep in mind is that you're going to be giving a lot of memory to your opponents all the time. But it doesn't really have to worry too much, because if they can't answer your board early and quickly enough, you basically get to pop off even quicker than they do and establish a lot of presence on the board no matter what. So whether you're going first or second, of course, you're always going to be hatching your egg, of course, which with Mother D Reaper, like I mentioned earlier, she is all there just so that you can use your Alice McCoy as a body to pop your own Digimon. Of course, you want to establish your tie and your mats as soon as possible as your opponents build their stack as well into their level 6s. Identify your matchup and find out that way as well. Ideally, you really want to be hard playing your Mamemon and your Wisemon. These 2 cards are definitely the cards you want to be mulligan to seeing for, because what they do is not only that you want to hard play them, they set up for your future plays. A lot of the decision making comes down on what you reveal on the top of your deck and how you reorganize it, so that you can plan for your Digivolution and your draws, and you know what your next move is going to be all about. So of course, your ideal Digivolve target will be your raidenmon with here by paying the 4 cost. And of course, once you move your mother out, this is when you can use your Alice McCoy to delete your own mother, essentially, to basically reduce the cost by 3. So you can just basically Digivolve it for 1 cost instead. This entire time, you can be slotting in your Gate Guardian cards, your Raijin, Fujin, and your Suijinmon underneath there to give, like, you know, extra level 6s if you need, and inheritables. Sometimes you might not see Raidenmon as soon as possible, but you do need a cycle card, so you do want to Digivolve it into one of the other 3 instead for the 3 costs, and then eventually you can Digivolve it into Raidenmon for 2 costs instead as well, which is what you're going to be looking for in this particular combo. Now, once you set all this up, you have a big body blocker on the board, and this is when you get into your level 7s. Play your level 7s very flexibly depending on which Omnimons you have. This is why it's really important of how you set up your Mamemon and your Wisemons and what you have in hand depending your opponent's matchup and what they have once again. Zwart Defeat is usually the one that you want to go to just because it just costs 3, which is very memory efficient, so you can usually retain your turn in most cases. Popping a Tamer is also really great in the most cases, and then this is when you can go and bridge into more different kinds of Omnimons to counter your opponents depending on the matchup. Omnimon Merciful Mode, really good against like Beelzemon, Machine Dramon, you know, deleting multiple things, and this is why, you know, being able to slide in even more additional level 6s as you're doing this combo gives you more value with these guys right here. Optimally, you're not going to be able to slide in everything during the most stages of the game, but that's why when you need to make those important decisions and decide for yourself. But otherwise, you know, Alter S is great for Y-board removal, getting rid of like stuff de-digivolving. Not a whole lot of stuff has protection against de-digivolving either. And then of course, eventually you can also just pay 2 to get into Alter B, as it's your main powerful combo, because not only it de-digivolves 3 and pops something as well, you mainly want to be swinging with it and, you know, taking away multiple level 6s, ideally 3, with its combo to trash 2 cards of your opponent's security, and like pop multiple things with it as well, which is absolutely insane. Then with Taikami and Matt Ishida, you can swing for multiple checks. Your opponents will have to deal with this big body on the board. Sometimes it's also really important when having your Omnimon and your Wisemons with their inheritables, because when you Digivolve all these Omnimons, they pay a lot of memory and they cost a lot. So let's just say if you ever Digivolve into Alter S, for example, right here, you're likely going to be passing your turn. But don't worry, at least, because if you're on top of Wisemon, you have a Blake blocker that your opponents is going to have to deal with essentially. Same goes for Metal Greymon, because it gives a blocker with no caveats whatsoever. Omnimon, not so much, just because you don't play really things with effects, but Omnimon is just super crucial to help you play more tamers with its on-play effect and, you know, cycle through different cards, and that's how you want to be playing this deck overall. Chip away your opponent's security, don't be shy, just keep attacking them with your big bodies essentially, and have them deal with it, and then you rinse and repeat your level 5 plays again and again, trying to Digivolve into your level 6s, and then again going into your Omnimons. That is this entire game plan and how you win with this particular deck. That'll wrap up for the deck profile for today. If you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please give it a like. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, or questions, be sure to share it with everyone in the comments down below. Once again, be sure to get your very own copy of the all-new Omega Berserk playmat right away, as they're running out very quickly. Links will be left in the top right iCard and in the description box down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you next video. This is Avault, signing out.